Volpo Studios.
Hello everyone, it's episode 10 and it is the brother from another mother. He is our partner in crime on this podcast. His name is James Miller. He's got a real story to tell, and this is the episode when me and him sat down and chewed the fat, all about mental health and life. Hope you enjoy it. I think I first met you when I was 12 years old. I'm sure I was playing for Beaumont Town. I don't know who you was playing for, but you was there with a guy we both know called Bo, as Ainsley Neckles, but we called him Bo. And I met you for the first time, and you've always had a very stern-looking face. Is that the right way to describe it?
Not really. I thought I'm quite good looking, to be fair.
You can be good looking and have a stern-looking face.
I don't know about stern. I think it's a case of not giving much away, going straight into it through childhood, really, just having to be quite prickly, quite protective, looking
tough,
at...
tough on the exterior.
Yeah, tough exterior, and really inside, not at all. But on the outside, I suppose you have to show... I would, back then, as a youngster, you thinking, I have to show that I'm all right, I'm tough and I'm this and I'm that, just try and keep up. And I think you're a product of where you're from, who you hang around with. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was never a bad kid or nothing like that. But if you didn't know me and you probably saw me, you'd probably think maybe I'm not that approachable. I'm not that sort of. Do you know what I mean? I have to show that I'm tough and this, that, and the other. But
the obvious question to ask is why.
Again, like I said, where I grew up in Highfields. Tough back then. I've not been back. Well, sometimes I go back with, like I said, with the boys. This is where I grew
kids.
up. Yeah, the kids. Yeah. This is where I grew up. You never grew up around here. Do you know what I mean? They've never had to worry about that. They've never had to worry about the things that I did growing up. Yeah, it was a tough area. No one had anything. Single mum. For the early part of my life. I'm sure there'll be other times on the podcast we'll talk about experiences with like stepdads and stuff like that. But like I said a minute ago, you're a product of where you are and your environment. And sometimes you have to portray, as an adult now, looking back, you don't have to. But when you're young and you've not got that guidance or you ain't got that support, you're still learning about life. I look back now and I think, why do I do that? Why? Not just in that, but just in everything.
Well, I'm trying to think. What was the thought process? Was it to survive? Was it to not get any shit from anyone else?
Yeah, it would be more not to survive, mate. Like to say survive, I think is a bit strong. If you can portray yourself in a certain way, that people are a bit like, ooh.
Mysterious.
Yeah, not mysterious, but a bit like, standoffish. I don't quite know how
to approach
he's going to be, or he's going to be like. And there'd be some lads, by the way, when I was kids, that wouldn't give a shit about that, and would still like be
stick it on your toes.
Because I'd never proclaim to be someone who's hard or this, that, and the other. But it worked for me.
Yeah, but do you think? So we've not even introduced you yet, but I will get there. But this is quite interesting to me, because do you think that because you're like that, I think as me and you have got older, we've understood, and I think we both believe in the law of attraction.
Yeah.
So thinking through what you've just said, through the law of attraction, if you are portraying something of a steely exterior, not approachable, blah, 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 that is going to attract that kind of individual or that thought process towards you.
Well, put it this way, and I remember my mum saying, never bring police to my door. And police never come to my door. So
yeah,
I get what you're saying. It was more of a protection kind of thing. It's a way of being accepted, right? You're not that way inclined. Like the lads that I knew, went to junior school with, stuff like that, they and the kids in that area, probably the same as me, single parents, not really having much, up to no good. Do you know what I mean? I was never really like that, but I could put myself in with them and hang with them, but I could also hang with kids who are good and fine and have everything, and I was able to just fit in. But no, I wouldn't say I attracted steely sounded kind of characters, or I guess I just wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
Just wanted to fit in, whether that be there. But you know, it gets to the stage where if you're with certain people and things look like they're going sideways, it's about dipping off and like
when to exit.
Going away. It was a bit of that, to be fair.
But the crazy thing is, I mean, this has gone in a different direction to where we thought it was going to go. But the crazy thing is when is the right time to do that? You don't want to do it too soon. Because I think Miller's a shitbag.
He's a fucking absolute shitbag.
They do though, don't they?
Yeah, of course.
And it's all this sort of, you know, my brain is deep and so is yours.
Yeah.
And my brain will ask me them questions. Can I get off now? Do I have to wait a bit? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really strange, but listen,
I must have been a fucking expert because, like I said, police never came to the door.
So, and your friends never thought you were a shitbag?
No. Well, they didn't tell me that.
Well,
but we know there's one instance that really, even to this day, you was there, loads of our other friends were there, and we was in a nightclub. One of our friends noticed a guy being abusive to his girlfriend, and I think he smashed like a glass or something like that. And our friend went over and sort of, I don't know what made him do that, but he went over and he was sort of saying, you know, what you doing, blah, 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 blah. And this guy is got up, big guy, out of town guy. We find out later on. And he sort of starts to go at our friend. And this goes from one side of the nightclub right to the other, where now we're at the bar situation. And I always remember, I got in between them. I remember getting in between them and blood dripping all down my arm. I was thinking, where the fuck that's come from? But it was this guy who smashed the glass. His hand was obviously bleeding. And our friend was this side and he'd picked up a bottle. And all I was trying to do, I'm sure it might have been your birthday.
It was my birthday.
It was your birthday. You know what I'm talking about?
Clear, yeah.
And I remember thinking, I was in between, this blood's happening. We got surrounded by bouncers. We didn't know who this guy was at this time, by the way. And it was just, this guy was something else, wasn't he? And it all went off, and I think he's hit our friend and, you know, really gone to town our friend and the bouncers. And we're in a situation where I'm like, what's... I didn't know what was best because I was bang in the middle of it at the time. Ended up getting out, escaping and going out of the club. At the time, actually... we all sort of just went different ways because I think we thought it came about that these bouncers worked for this guy. Like he just acquired the club or something.
As protection.
But yeah, but these bouncers were there.
Yeah.
And someone said something, and we all just, for some reason, we just scattered in different directions. And I was with Dan at the time, and I remember thinking, why didn't I do anything? Why didn't I do anything? You know, your friend's getting punched, your friend's getting hit, and why didn't you do anything? And it really, really, for a long time, is like, it did eat me up for a long time when you're young. But like, when you look back now and you think, it's about getting out of there, it's about survival, and it's not about putting on a brave face, it's not about being something you're not or trying to portray. That could have been really serious that night. I think that was a real lesson for us.
But what I say to something like that is, as we get older and we understand the human responses and human emotions, the emotion that night for all of us was fear.
Yeah.
It was fear because he was a big guy. I remember it. It was awful. He's slapping his missus in the face and then he's smashing bottles. You thought, he's crazy. And then our friend goes to step in. I'm very much like you. God knows why. I have no idea why he thought you know, it was probably the gentleman thing to
Yeah.
do. A woman is in distress,
Yeah.
the man is going crazy, you go and step in. But this guy took huge exception to that, and he took it out on our friend.
Yeah.
And as soon as it happens, there's three responses. There's flight,
Right.
fight, or freeze. And I don't think you fought, but I think you might have been disabled between fight and freeze, because you didn't get off straight away, and
No.
neither did I.
No.
My response was freeze, and now I understand, and I beat myself up about it all the time for that night, but nights that have been, I won't run from something, but I do freeze. The cool thing to do, because what we see in Hollywood movies all the time, is to fight in an instance like that. But there's only very few people that experience pure fear and then fight.
For me, I didn't fight. I was acting like almost like a peacemaker. Like I was in between. Do you know what I mean? I was in the middle, trying to keep him away, and they're going at each other, fucking blood's dripping all down my arm. I'm thinking, this fucking shirt's brand new. Do you know what I mean? And then when it started really going, in my mind, I'm thinking, if we get involved here, we're surrounded by, because they had surrounded us, by the way. We are in deep, deep shit.
Yeah. And he was also shouting about he's going to go to his car and get his gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So,
did.
I mean, I hung around. As soon as you got out of there, Matty was safe. Then I was gone. There was no fight from me. There was no fight. There was no peacemaking. I was just sitting there astonished that I can't believe this has happened. Not sitting there, standing there. I think my brother was the same. But it's really interesting to me about human responses.
Yeah.
And I've still not introduced you. Because it's off the back of the book. The book, I think, was really successful. And I know this. And people that know me well don't mind me talking like this, because I'm not chucking any sauce on it. That book is not going to hardly sell any books. When it first comes out, and if people think it's all about football. So the idea was make it as truthful as possible. The real lows, what it's really like to be a footballer with someone with my mindset. What is it really like? And I told it exactly how it is, and painted myself in truth, but a lot of the time in a bad light. I know people will read that book and go, fucking hell, he shouldn't have been a footballer. He didn't have the mentality to do it. Some of the stuff that I put in that book. And then some of the real alarming stuff that I'm ashamed of, I put in that book. Drink driving, dead against, drug taking, arrogance, all the stuff that are so bad within me as a human being and as a personality, I put in that book. And this is how the podcast has to be.
You've made yourself vulnerable.
But I think it had to be. When I was going to do the book, it had to be like that. There was no other way of doing it. You can't. What am I going to talk about? If I talk about the football totally, it's an accumulation of, 30 starts, 15 substitute appearances. So it had to be everything about off the pitch. Mainly. And your name is James Miller. We talked about our first introduction when we were 12. And then after that, we both find ourselves at Leicester City.
I started playing football a lot later than the rest of the lads when I joined. I came in because Tux, great guy, he came and watched a school game between my school, Judge Meadow, because our friend was playing, and a couple of lads from another school, Reek Valley, they were playing. And I must have stood out. I don't know how. I must have done. I always fucking scored. When I was that age, anyway. So I don't know. I must have stood out somehow. And then I remember being called by our friend. Bo called me, and I thought he was pulling my leg. And he was like, "Oh, the scout from Leicester said he wants your phone number, blah blah blah." So he gave me my phone number. I thought he was messing around. He gave me my number.
Why did you think he was messing around?
I don't know. I just never thought I was good enough. Again, another one where you push your chest out and you put on this act and show. Deep down, I didn't think I was ever good enough. I was playing for Leicester boys, and I remember, I was playing well for the school. And I remember saying to the PE teacher, you know, can you put me for Leicester boys trials? And I remember him saying, because don't get me wrong, Bo was amazing when we was kids.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
He was.
I used to look at him and think, he's fucking unreal.
Was he the best player in the team?
Oh, by far. By far, no one could touch him. Since age of 10, I've known Bo since I was age 10. Since the age of 10, you know, I've always looked up to that guy. Always. And when we was at school,
on and off the pitch.
yeah, mate, he was a. I say was because obviously at the minute we're not talking, but
we'll get him on here. I think at
we
some
need.
point we get him on.
I think
and
we need
all
to. It's
talk.
not that we've fallen out. We're just not talking at the minute. If he called me tomorrow, I'd be there for him like that, you know, and then you would. But off the pitch, he taught me. You know what we're talking about before? How to be around certain people without actually teaching me. I was observing.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And we went to the same school for that. He came to Medway, my school, for a bit, and we ended up at Judge Meadow together. So even from junior school, he was something special. Just on the football pitch, he was unreal, good lad. And I remember I asked the PE teacher, and he said to me, "Do you think you're good enough?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm good enough." He went, "You have to be Bo's quality to get into Leicester Boys. You know, you have to be that quality." And I was like, "Well, just let me go and see. Just let me have a chance." So anyway, went to the trials, got in straight away. Again, Bo gave me advice on the way there. You know, don't worry about doing tricks. Just get hold of the ball, play it simple. Really good advice. Took it on board, got in. Then Leicester County. So then me and Bo's journey was school team, Leicester Boys together, the county, Leicester County, and then obviously the last one was Leicester City.
And that was you were 14 at that point.
No, I was 15.
15.
Yeah, 15. So I went in really late and ended up playing in the youth team, so the under-18s, while I was still at school. So I went in and I played for the youth team, even before guys that had been there for a long time. So that was, for me, it just like sort of happened overnight. Like it was a dream, because I never ever thought really that I was that good enough.
Yeah, and then so I'll pick up from the start. So then our real introduction was at Leicester.
Yeah.
And,
proper introduction.
And my mind is blurred between when you first came in, because for everyone listening, I'm a year younger than you.
In football terms, yeah.
In football terms, yeah, I'm a year, and school terms.
Yeah, in school terms.
And school terms, I'm a year younger than you. And the big thing that stuck out right from the start is, well, two things actually. The first time I ever met you, I thought, he's a bit grumpy, he's very steely kind of looking, didn't know how to approach you, which you were trying to portray, you've already said that.
Yeah.
So that worked on me. And then the next time that I have memory of you, so let me set this story up. So I had got into, it must have been under 16s, under 17s, and you were in the dressing room. You know the story I'm about to tell?
Yeah, but I don't think, I think we're missing some interactions here. Because,
Go on, tell me, because I can't remember.
Because before I signed the youth team contract, and I was still a schoolboy but playing for the under-18s on Saturdays, there was a couple of times, even though you was academically a year behind, and you would still come and play as well, because you was that good. So we did meet like that, and we was always all right, but we weren't ever like...
Mates?
Yeah. Because
yeah.
we weren't really training together, we were just coming in and stuff. So then when I was full-time there, you were still at school, but you'd still come and play for us and come in on, like, in the half terms and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
So I'm obviously now, because when I was saying I was 15 and playing for the oldest, I'm still new in myself. But now, obviously, I'm full-time. I know the boys a bit more. I know the club a bit more. And you was coming in. So I know the story you're going to talk about. So there was more interactions, but not like, we weren't like, it was like, yes, Pipes, how you doing? It was that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you said that I was a Mardy arse, which I was, and
still
I
then,
want it, mate.
Because
I was angry. I was an angry young man. Remember? I don't know if it's appropriate to go into it now. because
Give
there's
us
gonna
a
be-
brief summary so it contextualizes the story,
So,
because that's important.
all right. So, single parent for the early part of life. A dad that was never there. As I got a bit older, so about 7, 8, mum with a new guy, bodybuilder, tattoos, bully. Used to knock my mum about, used to hit me.
And you witnessed
Controlling,
that.
horrible. Yeah. And me. I look back and think, how could this happen? So he's got kids in the previous relationship. He's got a boy who's 5 years older than me. And on a Sunday afternoon, we'd have to get boxing gloves off and have a scrap in the other room. But he's 4 years older than me.
Yeah. So you used to
so
get
if you're
pasted.
if you're 14, yeah. If he's 14 and I'm 9, what chance you got?
Yeah. And your mum seen this,
Oh, of course.
and she was cool with it.
Never said anything, but again, she could have been living in fear.
Yeah.
I step in, what's going to happen to me? Still not right.
No.
Still probably why there's resentment there now from me.
To him and your mum.
Yeah. I didn't hate him. I feared him. I didn't know what I was coming home to.
Mate, you told me a story once. It was when we became probably best friends, and you told me a story, and I think I laughed out loud because, and if I didn't, it was one of them moments where it feels like a funny story, but if you're in that story, it's not funny at all. With the one where you're in town.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Of course you remember the story.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why my reaction was to laugh at that. It's probably because I felt the fear from the story. And I often, if I'm fearful, I do.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
a lot of people do. I think,
Yeah, they're not like laugh because they don't know how.
Yeah.
Or it's just an involuntary reaction. Yeah, I get it.
that's what happened. And then I felt terrible, and I thought, oh my God, I hope he didn't see me laughing, because I could see the pain on your face in telling that story.
Yeah, I ran off crying.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you,
and I
how
did when
old-
you laughed.
How old were you?
I was in my first year at Leicester, so I was 16. 16. And shouldn't have been out, but, hanging around with the lads in town. Not getting up to mischief, but just being out in town. 16 with our friend again. I bumped into him, and I'd been pestering my mum about dyeing my hair blonde. Back then it was all the rage. All the black lads were doing it. It was a thing. And I really wanted to dye my hair blonde. I remember
Kieran Dyer did it. A few footballers did it.
Ian Wright did
Yeah,
it. He
Ian
was
Wright did
obviously a legend, and a lot of players were doing it. Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man, that kind of thing. It was around them sort of times. So anyway, I really wanted it done. I did do it in the end, but I was a bit older.
Wise decision.
Yeah. So
You would have looked right. Fucking. No, go on. Keep going. Go on.
I wanted to dye it blonde, but in the end, I did it like a copper, like a goldy colour. It was good. It probably sounds awful, but it was good. But anyway, so I was going on about it, and my mum was like, no. Funnily enough, how could you say no to that, but let me have a tattoo while I was at school? It's weird. But anyway, so it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're laughing again. I'm gonna fucking run off. So yeah, we're out and about, and I'm with my mates, and he's out with his son actually, and clocks me with my mates.
The older one that used to beat you up,
Well,
fist fight with.
he used to make us box.
Yeah.
I can't blame him for that.
No.
I can't.
No,
blame
I
him
understand.
For that. So yeah, so he's clocked us and come over to us, and he's talking to me. Oh, you're all right. Starts all nice, and then goes, oh, you want to dye your hair blonde? You keep going on about dyeing your hair blonde. Do you think you're some kind of bad man, sort of thing? And I'm like, no, I just want to dye my hair blonde. And all the lads are like looking at me and say, who the fuck's this weirdo? I'm like, what the fuck?
Who were you with? Were you with Leicester City players?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just the lads I used to knock around with before.
Okay.
Before I was at Leicester. They're looking at me like, James, like, what the fuck? Who's this guy? Because they don't know him. So I'm like, no, nothing like that. I don't think I'm a bad guy. He goes, oh, you think you're a fucking bad man, do you? And just like, and remember I told you he's bodybuilder.
Don't, because I feel like I'm going to laugh again. It's bad, but I don't know why.
So
Go on.
I don't know. And I'm just saying, no. And out of nowhere, he just went, bang. and like whacked me one round the face. And first I was like, what was that? And then we was talking about earlier, fight or flight. I just ran. I don't know, something just went boom, and I went bang, ran, and I ended up one side of town and jumped in like a bush. I'm fucking laughing now. Near St George's Retail Park, there's like there used to be like loads of bushes around there, and I just jumped in the fucking bush, and I was like, I don't know what's telling me that was the right thing to do, but I did it, and I could hear him going, James, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, like shouting, but I was stuck in this bush, like so he's walked past the bush. Do you know what I mean?
Shit. And you had dread.
Yeah, because he just hit me for no reason.
But
So
why
what
do you
fucking
think he
hell?
did?
I don't know. Is it to try and belittle me in front of the lads, try and make me feel
Was it
like
hard, or
is
was it
a
just
control
a clip?
thing?
Was it a clip? Or
No,
was
it was hard, mate. It was hard. But obviously he was been out, so obviously he's been in the pub,
Yeah, he's drunk.
so he's drunk. But that's not okay.
Yeah, but for a stepson, I mean, imagine me and you know. I mean, I've got a stepdaughter. Imagine she says she wants to dye her hair a different colour.
It's got nothing to do with you.
Exactly, especially at that age. But even if I did want to offer my 2 cents, why would I hit her? It's a mentality that.
And by the way, I've never been. I know you're saying, you know, I was stealer, bit this, bit that. I've always had good manners, always been respectful.
Yeah.
Like I said, never brought police to the door. You know, I've always been a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? Never been like mouthy or cocky or arrogant.
not at all.
Never ever have been. So he would have nothing on reason there. I ain't talking to him like, nah, I ain't a bad man. What you talking about, you dickhead? I'm not giving it that one.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying, no. Because I know if I talk to him like that, I'd get one anyway.
What's interesting to me about, you know, human behaviour is trying to work out what it could have been. Because I know you're not like that. He would have known that you're not like that. Your mum would know that. His son, who he was with, would not know that. So trying to work out human behaviour or why he would do that. You know, what kind of mentality, personality has he got?
It's not okay, but he was of an era where his dad was Sri Lankan and his mum was English woman. So you got to think in them days, the years that he had to put up with, and he had a horrible stepdad as well. But it doesn't make it okay.
No.
Do you know what I mean? If
It's a
anything,
bit
you
like,
should learn. You
it's
should
a
learn.
bit like the abuser.
Yeah,
The abused become the abuser.
yeah.
That obviously happens a lot. It could have been that, I
Yeah.
suppose. You know my story with my dad. and I tell you, on this podcast, I'm going to get him on. Because even though me and him are cool now, I want to know if he can remember what was in his mind, what are his traits of his personality, of his past. What was it that made him get the belt out
Yeah.
for no reason? Hit my mum. You know, similar to you, but
seen
obviously my mum and dad were together until I was, I don't know, 8, 9. Me, Dan, lived in a shelter with my mum, a refuge. I put that in my book, and then the guy who wrote the book was like, do you want to call it for what it was? Your mum left because I flavoured the language a bit, so it didn't say for definite that he was hitting my mum in front of us or beating the shit out of us with belts and fuck it. My go-to thing was sprint up the stairs
Bath.
and jump in the bath. Because I always think I was a clever kid when I was younger. Because everyone used to say, why did you jump in the bath? Because when that belt is coming down from high, it's hitting the wall, it's hitting the side of the bath, and then it's catching you on the leg. But it's not a full-blown hit.
No, it's been broken.
The
swing's been broken.
The swing has been broken and sort of dulled.
Yeah.
So it's not as hard. So I always used to do that. My brother, Dan, he used to just turn round, bend over and show his leg and his batty.
And take it.
Never cry, bro. Strange. Again, human behaviour is different. I used to scream.
Yeah.
I didn't used to cry. I just, as if it was taking the pain away or something. But we grew up in an era, you know, the 80s, especially if you had Asian backgrounds, West Indian backgrounds, African backgrounds, where it weren't like... My mum used to show me the slipper. That's as much as it used to get with my mum. And then it'd be, wait till your dad gets home. But she used to show it me. She probably clapped me with it a couple times. But always with something reduced out of it because they don't want to hurt their children.
My mum hit me probably once I remember it weren't even a hit really. It was like a kick.
Mm.
It was a kick into the front door, because I remember I was in a shop asking for something and she said no, and I kept going on and on and on and on and on about wanting this thing. I remember going on and on and on, and she was like, no, can't afford it. And then it got to the point where it was like, just wait till you get home. I'm not saying no more, just wait till you get home. So all the way home, no speak. Got to the front door. Got to the front door.
Right, through it.
Stand at the door. So I stood at the door. She put the key in. The door opened, and all I felt was bang in my back.
What, flat foot?
No, she
Bottom
had
of the
stilettos on. It's 80s, bro. She went, bah!
No, but push you through the door like with her foot.
No, it
or
was
volleyed you from the side. What?
No.
What kind of technique is it?
Like
if we're talking about football,
Eric Cantona volleying that Crystal Palace fan.
man got licked through the door.
Fucking had whiplash. I swear my neck went like that.
What did you say? Oh?
No, I can't remember. I can remember the fucking kick, but I can't remember saying anything back. But that's the only time I can ever think of my mum. But I must have pushed her to that far, going on and on and on and on. Back then, having no money and me going on and on and on about something, it must have really like got to the point where it's like,
and maybe the social situation of she might have thought, because
this was before him though.
No, not because of that. Because of you're in a shop.
Yeah.
You keep going on, and someone don't want to lick their kid or shout at him in a shop. That's why she said. That's why she whispered to you, "Wait till you get home."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then all that rage is building on the way home, and then she just thought,
fucking Eric Cantona.
He's getting this stiletto, mate.
Fucking Eric Cantona me through the fucking front door. Cheers.
So we were at the point where, and I like digressing because it paints a picture of the context of the story and who we both are and, you know, how we grew up. And we got to the point where you gave me that information now where we must have had interaction between that first meeting and the meeting I'm just about to talk about. And that meeting, it's got to go down. And I think I've told you this before. And obviously I'm over it now, but it obviously, it's character building if you use it in the right way. And don't be embarrassed. This podcast is all about talking the truth and some of the difficulties that the truth brings out. And basically what it was, Leicester City, I must have been a first year. You were a second year. We're either schoolboy. I'm either a schoolboy or I'm a first year. And you're a second year. Or you're a year older anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And basically what it was, there's a changing room, and then there was a swing door to the showers. Mm-hmm. And at the start of the day, I think a lot of people know this, but I'll tell them anyway. When you go into a training ground when you're a youngster, and all the first team, I don't know if it's still like this, but this is how it used to be. You used to go in the kit room in the morning, go to your number and pick your little kit up.
Get your roll.
Get your roll.
Don't they?
Yeah, a towel on the outside, and your socks, your shorts, your training top, and your drill top are inside. Yeah, and then you've got the boot room. So you put your kit on when you get in. You put your trainers on from the boot room while you're doing jobs or you're waiting to go out and train around the training ground. Yeah. And then when it's time to go out to train, you go to the boot room. You get your boots. You put your boots on. You put your trainers on the peg where your boots were. You go out and train. You come back in. You swap them again. You go into the changing room, and then you put your flip-flops on. You do your jobs. You then go and have a shower. And obviously, we're all 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Imagine trying to do jobs around a training ground. You've got guys that are very assertive, very on it, get their jobs done quickly. Then they get into the changing room. They have a shower.
They just want to fuck off home.
Yeah, they want to go home. But there was always, when we were there, under Neville Hamilton, God rest his soul, and David Nish, Chris Tucker, they'd all come in at the end to give you a little debrief, make sure all the jobs are done, and then send you on your way and say, see you tomorrow. So I was always very late with my jobs. Always. Whatever job I had, I would take my time over it. I'd make sure it was done right, but everyone knows me on the radio now. I'm late to the radio. I'm late to meetings. If I was sweeping up a dressing room, I take my time over it. I'm not the quickest. So 9 times out of 10, I'm last in the shower. Now, what could sometimes happen is you get into the changing room and lads have already done their job, already had a shower, already got changed, already sitting down, waiting for the coaches to come in to say, has everyone done their jobs? give us a debrief and send them on their way. I came in the dressing room that day and there was a few lads that were already changed. And I was like, shit, I'm late. So I quickly got, took all my clothes off.
Not a few lads.
Yeah.
Most of the lads.
Quite a few of the lads. But there were still lads in the shower.
Yeah.
Right? So I get my towel, you wrap it around yourself, you go through the swing door into the showers.
Yeah.
You already know. And I'm one of them kids. I don't know why. And there is people like this in life that I suppose when you're naked, you're quite private.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? There's some lads that will just dry their back in front of a full dressing room that's already changed and not care. And it's not like I'm particularly small downstairs or you've got anything to worry about or hide. It's just you're quite private. So I go in the shower. There's about 3 or 4 lads in there. Most of the lads are changed and, ready to go. I have my shower. I clean my hair. I clean everything. I'm the last one in there. So you're already thinking, oh shit, I've got to go out in front of everyone. The coaches are going to be like, then you've got to get changed in front of everyone. And I look up to the towel rail and some fuckers took my towel.
That weren't me.
No.
That weren't me.
No, I'm not saying it was you.
No, it weren't me.
But now, so already socially angst against getting changed in front of a full fucking dressing room with a towel round yourself.
God, I'm cringing.
Yeah. Now I'm standing there behind the door thinking, I can hear the coaches starting to talk as everyone finished. Pipes is still in the shower. So I've got to come out. I can't even wait in there and just think, oh no, just wait here till everyone goes and then I'll come out. So I'm standing behind the door and I'm thinking, I ain't got a towel. I've got to fucking walk out. So anyway, I take a few deep breaths and I think, fuck it, I'm going for it. Knowing the changing room's packed and everyone's sitting quietly. I swing the door open. I'm getting nervous now talking about it. I swing the door open and everyone naturally looks, oh, who's coming out of the shower? It's me with no towel, mate. So what are you going to do? You're not going to come out with your fucking hands over your piece and walk to your thing. You're not going to do that. So you try and walk as normal as possible, totally naked in front of a changing room of 23, 24 lads and 3 coaches. 17, 18-year-olds. Yeah. And everyone's looking at you. No one says anything. I'm thinking, fucking, this is great. I'm walking to my thing. No one said out. I'm trying to put that face on and that demeanour that I don't give a shit that I'm the last in the shower and that I'm naked and that everyone's looking at me. You try and put that facade on, don't you? Yeah. A bit like what you do with the steeliness earlier in the story. And then all of a sudden, someone goes, he's been playing with his things. And the reason why, and I went, no, I'm not. Quickly, you're trying to put the towel around you, pull your boxer shorts up. But immediately, why you're so angry is because behind that door, clearly I was playing with them to get a bit more blood in it so that you can go out with a bit more confidence.
There's fucking definitely some blood.
And, it's all veined up and everyone looks and then everyone bursts out laughing. And then as I've got older, and I think this is with a lot of people, as you get older, you understand that situations like that, you just have to make light of it, make fun of it, laugh with everyone else. Whereas when you're younger, you're like, oh, and I was like, I can't believe you fucking said that.
I had no idea until obviously we got a bit older that really bothered you. With me, I always, again, like I was talking about Bo, unbelievable player, yourself, unbelievable. But you was dead quiet, weren't you? Really quiet, really shy, really...
People don't believe me now when I say that because I do the radio, I do obviously talks in public.
Your characters, it's different. You was, as a youngster, you was quiet. You was quiet, unassuming,
I don't know what made me change that.
On the football pitch, I think your life experiences, mate. You've been through some shit. I think it's kind of it's made you more puff your chest out, be a bit more stronger. I think through your experiences.
But honestly, that would. Yeah. I understand that would be true, but you would still think that someone who feels quiet and unassuming, still, if that's your natural character, that puffing your chest out and doing things like that, or doing the radio, or getting abuse on social media, or doing a talk, and yes, being nervous and stuff would fit with a character that's trying to step out their comfort zone constantly. But I don't get nervous about stuff like that anymore.
Not anymore.
Where I used to. So is it just become habit? And I don't know. It's a real strange one, because, you know, when I tell people now who know my character now, I don't think I'm the most outgoing guy now, but I'm definitely tenfold of what I used to be.
100%. I think you can go into any room and talk to anyone. I think, you know what I mean? You wouldn't walk into a room and be like, oh, no, I'm not going to go and talk to him, or I'm not going to... You wouldn't do that now.
Well, I used to.
You used to, yeah, I think.
I
100%.
did.
You used to be quiet. You just wanted to just be, like, be there. You wanted to be there, but you just wanted to just be sort of quietly there, like not...
On the periphery of whatever.
Yeah, not in the main sort of thing that's going on. I guess for me, like I said, I always liked you. I always thought you was a brilliant footballer. And I don't know, I just thought you needed to come out your shell a little bit more. I just felt like you needed to be like more part of the rest of the group. And by the way, there's times where me trying to be that guy like in the group made myself look like a tit. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, I think back now, why did I do that? Why on earth did I do that?
And your brain at that time, so what you're saying is your brain at that time, at that moment in that dressing room thought, if I point out that he's been playing with his things, would help me do that.
Well,
by the way, this is important to say at this point, because people listening on the other end could be thinking, oh, he's still really... you know, bothered by that and heads up. I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
We've had conversations about it.
A lot.
Yeah.
I probably was when I first approached the conversation when we were friends.
Yeah. No, I just wanted you to... I don't know. I don't know if it would have... I suppose I just was trying to get you involved, bring you in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you were on the outside. I wanted you in. And I thought we are there every single day, are taking the piss out of each other and hammering each other for jobs if someone's not being done, or someone's doing extra training and getting called busy and stuff like that. I just wanted you in there and have a bit of that. Let's see how you react from that. And do you know what I mean?
There was no part in your mind of, and this is a genuine question, let me embarrass him.
No.
No, I don't think there was.
No,
but,
no way.
I mean, we're talking 25 years ago.
No way. Absolutely not. Why would I wouldn't want to embarrass you.
No, I know.
I wanted you to do well.
You know why I would be angry at that point is because I can't remember the exact feeling now, but I remember being angry and I can't believe he's just said that. You know, initially, and then going home, calming down, and still thinking, can't believe he said that. So I must have thought...
But why did we get on so well then, if you were so angry towards me?
No, but this is what I mean. So at the time, this is what I love, trying to dig deep into human behaviour, because at the time I've took that as anger, and I could have only been angry because I felt you've tried to embarrass me, whereas you've not at all.
No.
And I think people in life, in general, can read these signals wrong a lot. Another one that came up in my life, and it's to do with you again, not in a bad way though this time. It was your wedding.
Oh yeah.
It was your wedding, and I wasn't drinking. It was not long after I come out of rehab, but I really wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I'll come, but I'm obviously not drinking. And I was there, and a guy looked at me. I think I dressed really smart. I dressed nice, but I had just been over the road and bought from I don't know if you know this, bought from a corner shop on Braunston Gate a bottle of vodka. I'd been 3 months clean and sober. I sat in the MFI car park, or whatever it was called at the time, before it turned into Tesco. And I sat there for about 40 minutes with a bottle of vodka with the top off, just about to nail it. But I'd just done 3 months clean and sober and just come out of rehab, because the social angst that I felt in your wedding, with everyone having a good time, drinking, partying, laughing. And a guy came over to me. I didn't drink it. I left it there in the car park, so wasted fucking 24 quid or whatever it was. Went back into the party and I was standing on the balcony just having a bit of time to myself. A guy came over and he said, mate, can I say, one of the best dressed here. You look cool as fuck. Mate, what's your name? It's so good to meet you. And he was with his missus. I don't even know who the guy was. And I was like, mate. And it's the first time I felt that I shared something really truthful, other than when I had been in an AA meeting. And it really had an impact on this guy because I said, mate, I can't believe you just said that. You've made me feel really good, but let me tell you exactly what's going on right now. And I told him what I just told you. Just been over the car park with an open bottle of vodka to drink it because I feel socially awkward in my best mate's fucking wedding. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, mate. And then he was like, I can't believe you've been so truthful with me. And me and him then gained this connection. Started talking to him and his wife. And then they said, hang around with us. We ain't really drinking that much. And from that one experience, it showed me how powerful sharing was. Do you know what I mean? He said, me and my missus were saying, look at that guy. I wonder what he does. And this is why I was drawn to come and speak to you. I wonder what he does. He holds himself so confidently. Does this and does that, and you've just told us that story. And I said, that's the thing, bro. And it goes back to what you were talking about earlier as well. That kind of what you portray out on your exterior doesn't always mean what's going on in the interior.
100%. You just never know, do you? You never know. And like the job that we do now, working with these youngsters, sometimes these kind of situations that we've been through have taught me a lot in ways of handling situations with them, because you don't know what is going on when they leave the college. You don't know at all what is going on. You've got to be visual. You've got to be vigilant. Sorry, not visual, vigilant. You've got to sort of look for things, and I suppose they've got to want to be ready to open up. You must have really felt like, I don't know, you don't know this guy. Do you know what I mean? You don't know him at all, but you felt like you could talk to that guy. Is it because you didn't know him that you felt that you could talk to him? Or is it?
Probably. I mean, who did I tell? I think I told my mum later that night that I'd bought a bottle of vodka. Clearly, I'm not going to tell you on your wedding day. I'm sure, you know, the point that it happened, it was because me and you, growing up and, you know, being friends from the youth team, and then, you know, your story is, we'll go into this a lot more in future episodes. I'm sure the whole story will come out, because this wasn't an episode where it was like, let's truly get to know who James Miller is, who's a part of this podcast along with my brother. But it was just to, you know, talk and give the audience an idea of who you are. We're not going to go into great detail. I mean, what I would say at this point is, because you just brought it up, that we've now been probably best friends since 18, 19 years old. So, you know, once that... He's got his tings out. He's playing with his tings. Since that situation, there was a turnaround moment. Actually, let me tell the people this. There was a turnaround moment that totally... So there's this thing. I read this book. I might have seen it on a podcast, and I really understood it. And when people, you know, this is how I try and do my broadcasting for the BBC. I try in simple language, not big words or try and, you know, talk in riddles. I just try and say things how it is. And they're the kind of quotes or the messages that I hear over the years, either if it's wrote down in a book or it's on a podcast, or, you know, I'm talking to someone face to face and they say something to me. I'm really quite a simple guy where I think, oh wow, I totally understand that just from a sentence. But there's no big words, there's no trying to make it, you know, overcomplicated. And someone spoke about it must be in a book, because I've got lots of books in the house, in this podcast studio. Actually, you can take a look up to your left and you can see them. Most of them are self-development, self-help, kind of inspiring books. There's not a lot of fiction in there. I don't read much fiction except Lee Child. One of the quotes, the guy who was saying it was talking about the emotional bank account. And if you can think about emotions as a bank account, you can withdraw from that bank account and you can put into that bank. You can put into that bank account. What's it called when you put money into a bank account?
Deposit.
Yeah, you can deposit. Sorry, well done. See, I told you I'm simple. You can deposit into that bank account, or you can withdraw from that bank account. And the way he talked about it was the emotional bank account. So when you went, he's playing with his things, you massively withdrew from mine and your personal emotional bank account. You withdrew that day.
Yeah.
From me, and you know that hurt me. It made me angry. So you withdrew.
Yeah.
The day you deposited more than you withdrew is when you stopped me getting arrested outside Life nightclub.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because I thought not many people would put themselves between police that were really trying to put me in the back of the prison wagon.
Yeah.
And me. Because everyone who knows me, I do have a problem with drink badly over the years, but even in the best of times, I think, if I'm talking honest, I think drink brings out some of my worst traits. I think I become a little bit arrogant sometimes if I'm too drunk. Clearly, I've got an addictive personality, and I do like being a little merry, and then I think, well, I've got to have a few more now. And then a few more, and it turns into where I get absolutely battered. But you massively deposited that night where I was just being Larry, I think. I wasn't being overly horrible to anyone. I can't actually remember the story.
Something happened, didn't they? And the police really wanted to... They were like trying to pull you, weren't they? I remember.
Yeah, and they opened the back of the van.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, that can't happen.
Well, it's I think it was a really important time for me. I was in and around the first team.
Yeah.
If the lad who's in and around the first team gets arrested for a drunken night out, it don't look good.
I wasn't thinking, oh, you're in and around the first team.
No, you're thinking as my friend.
You're my mate.
Yeah,
There's that's not happening. You're not going in that police wagon. What happened was, I can't remember. Did you throw something? I feel like you threw something. It's a long time ago, but
I know.
I can't
it wasn't
remember.
something terrible.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't something terrible. But
they
were looking for some. They were looking for something.
Yeah, because there was disorder outside. And if you're listening and you've ever been to Life nightclub in Leicester, it's not there anymore.
There was always fucking disorder.
There was always fucking disorder outside that place, and I was steaming, and I came out, and I was like, "Hey!" And it was fun at the start. I can remember it being fun, and the police probably didn't think that, but it was like, "Hey!" And then they grab you, and then they're like, and then you're like, "Get your hands off me!"
Yeah.
And then it's like, what? And then they go for you, and 3 or 4 come, and they open the back of the doors, and they're trying to get you in the van, and you came from fucking like,
But the funny thing is, because the van's on the road, and it's Sainsbury's.
Yeah, Sainsbury's, yeah. It's gone now as well.
Yeah.
But it was there, yeah.
I don't know how it happened, but I managed to get in between. Fucking hell, I'm good at getting in between. I got in between, and I sort of pushed you back, didn't I? From the van
towards the shutter.
And then got in between, like, so my back was facing you.
Yeah.
And I sort of put my arms like that, and the police facing them.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I managed to, like, talk them down, but I got you then, and I was calm, weren't I? I was like dead calm, saying, "Look."
You spoke with reason.
Yeah, I was like, "Look, he's had a lot to drink. It's his birthday. I'll look after him, like I'm somebody."
Why
do you know
is
what I
all
mean?
this trouble kicking off when it's my birthday? That was the story earlier.
Was it the same night?
No. Wasn't the same night.
Wasn't
the same night.
It was your birthday then, because I said it's his birthday. He's had lots of drink. He's steaming, but look, I'll look after him. Like I'm telling them, like I'm some kind of saint. I'll look after him. I'll make sure he'll behave. And they were like, they weren't having it to start with, were they? And then I was going on, and eventually they're just like, just fuck off, sort of.
Yeah.
Like just take him and go.
Yeah. And that to me, I woke up the next morning, and one thing about me is anytime I get steaming, even if I'm at my worst, it's very rarely do I forget what happened the night before. I've done it a few times where I have had sort of blackout, it's called, when you've drank way too much and you forget what you've done the night before. But I just remembered waking up thinking, yo, that was a massive deposit into my emotional bank account of mine and your relationship. And then that was the thing I think that cemented you as, anytime I was after that, oh, who's your best mate? James Miller.
Yeah.
because no one had ever, outside the family, no one had ever done something like that for me before.
Yeah.
So it massively outweighed the, oh my God, he's been playing with his things. It massively, it massively outweighed that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What I'd ask you is then the playing with his things thing, again, it wasn't coming from a place of malice. Obviously, you're in that kind of environment, so there's banter and lads taking the piss out of each other all the time. Not that I'm a true believer in now. You know when people go, oh, it's only banter. It's only banter. That's bullshit. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's not just only banter. Like that only goes so far.
Mm.
There's normally something else. It's not just banter.
Well, this is what
Do you
I'm
know
saying.
what I mean?
Well, of course I know what you're saying,
And
because this was my take on what you said.
Yeah. It weren't that it was banter. It was, I wanted you to really like be part of. I knew that obviously the following season you're coming anyway.
Mm.
Because you was that strong a player, you was coming up anyway. You know what I mean? You've probably already been told that you're going to get your scholar or whatever. By
That was
point.
like, what you were trying to do is like what it's, they call it now an initiation dance or song.
Yeah.
That's what you were trying to do with, and I get that now.
Yeah.
I understand it. So professionals now, a lot of footballers, I suppose it happens in other sports, but a lot of footballers, a new kid who comes into the dressing room or a new signing, they have to do something embarrassing. They have to stand up and sing or dance or whatever. And that was your thinking around why you said what you said to me.
Yeah, I think people not involved in sort of sport and that would say breaking the ice, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it happened to me. So when I joined, when I was playing, and we've spoke about it already, but when I was playing when I was a schoolboy and I was playing for the 18s on the Saturday, a good friend of ours now, I don't know if you say the name, Brano.
Yeah.
Tough kid, same thing. He always looked after us boys, always.
Yeah.
Always. But I remember, it's the same sort of thing. I went in, remember, I'm late to football, this kind of football.
Yeah.
Late. So I went in and I was playing for the youth team, whatever. And I remember on the first time I got there, and there's a funny story that you could bring up actually about being made to wear a suit.
Yeah.
So my first time, I turned up in a. Do you remember that shop Kit?
Yeah, I remember.
I remember
Matt Elliott's wife.
Yeah.
Used to own Kit.
Yeah. So before
Kathy. Yeah.
Kathy had it, I always remember this. My mom used to go bingo, right? And she won the national. You know the national where they all play.
What?
Yeah, she won the national. It weren't much though. It was about $3,000 or something like that.
Okay,
But to us, it was fucking
That was massive. Yeah.
So I remember she took me shopping. I remember Rockports. They were the thing. So she bought me a pair of Rockports,
I used to have a pair of them.
a Valentino t-shirt, blue Valentino t-shirt from Kit, and some other bits and bobs. Anyway, when I went and played got called to play for them, I remember walking in the dressing room with the Valentino t-shirt thinking, I look the fucking dog's danglies here, mate. Hey, I look the dog's danglies here. I didn't have the Rockports on though, but I look the dog's danglies. Fucking walk in and the same sort of thing. Brano to me, fucking hell, look at him. His mum's ironed on the Valentino badge. Do you know what I mean? But the same sort of feelings, that you had, I fucking had for him. Except he was a big fucker and I'd be shit scared of saying no because he'd film
What
me
did you do? How did you deal with it?
Because,
Did you just laugh? Or
No. I think I told him to fuck off or something like that because I was angry. I was that kid. You told me, you just said it. I was an angry kid. So I think I just told him to fuck off and all the lads were like laughing sort of thing. But then in the warm-up, he's come up to me, he's going, yeah, you know, he was Sam. Do you know what I mean? So straight away, all that's gone. It's like, it's a bit of band, you know. And he always looked after us, so I would never ever say a bad word against him. But it was the same sort of thing. I've walked in there a bit quiet, don't really know anyone. Because remember, in some ways, I've come in later than lads that have been there since age 9 and then gone past them, which is mad.
Yeah.
Which is a bit crazy.
So normally you're supposed to do this at the start, but we do it towards the end.
Yeah.
So we've painted the picture of how me and you have become best friends and how we know each other. And then it turns out that who you've been talking about earlier, Bo, who we will get on this podcast at some point. But Ainsley Neckles is his real name, but his nickname was Bo. I never knew why his nickname was Bo.
I don't know.
Well, we'll ask him. We'll ask him when he comes on. But Bo...
I swear, I'm sure a relative gave him that nickname. I'm sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't because he smelt. No, because that's what I thought at the start. I used to sniff when I was with him, thinking they only call him Bo because he's obviously got BO.
No, you never.
No, I did. The first few times I met him, I thought, why is he called Bo? So I used to sniff him. But what I'm trying to say
and
is...
he's very successful now in his own right, isn't he?
He's very successful in his own right.
Really
in Leicester as well, and that's why we'll get him on. But what you just referred to a minute ago is the fact that when we started talking on the podcast and, you know, Bo came up a few times and you were saying that he was an unbelievable player, the best in the team. He was first at the counter, first at Leicester City. And he held that hierarchy at Leicester City for a long time. Everyone thought he was going to become a pro. You came into the game later at Leicester, like we've been talking about, and it ends up that he gets told that he's not getting a contract. Everyone thought it was going to be you. I was a year behind you, and everyone thought, wow, that means... Because the two main strikers at that point in that age group were Bo and yourself. And if anyone's younger listening to this podcast, this is what's important. Things change, opinions change, personnel, coaches change as you go through these years. So Bo, I would categorise him as the golden child from age 10, 11, maybe here a year here or there, but all the way through.
Everybody knew Bo. Everybody.
Yeah.
In and out of Leicester, even if he was just a Sunday league, they'd know him.
Yeah, because he was such a talent, and he was.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
And then you get to 18 years old, and you're the guy that's come in at 15, who's more of a kind of park player, not as skillful as Bo, raw. And all of a sudden, everyone's thinking, wow, Bo's been told no, Miller's not been told yet. Miller's going to get a contract and become a pro footballer at Leicester City.
Yeah, in the second year, I went past people anyway to get the scholar. My first year, I was terrible. My first year was really bad. I struggled to adapt to the environment.
Professional environment.
Yeah, really.
And the critique that comes with the professional environment.
Really struggled because obviously when you're in the schoolboy and you're playing for Nish and Nev now and then, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
When you're going in your full time,
it changes.
It changes.
The expectation
changes
from the coaches.
So my first year, I was terrible. It was struggling to adapt to the professionalism. It was, again, putting on that facade. I had a shocking attitude, mate, and I don't know why. Why did I have a shocking attitude? I should have been grateful that I had that opportunity. My attitude was shocking.
Yeah, but
shocking.
Surely you think back, or you have done over the years, and think, why was that?
Yeah, I do.
You know, you now to me, and I think this is why we're aligned, and with how we are as people, you are a very reflective person. You're reflective.
I reflect all the time, yeah.
So
I question myself.
Yeah, I know you do. So I'm
an overthinker.
You must, exactly like me. So you must have questioned why you was like that at that point. What did you think it was going to serve as a benefit at that point?
It was pride, mate. It was me thinking, I can't have people talk to me like that.
Even if they're David Nish, who's played for England, Leicester, Derby.
Yeah, you can't talk to me like that.
So when he'd berate you after training, in training, side of the pitch, games.
Again, I think I've become more, and I think we all do, we all reflect more so as we get older. But back then, it was my first year, I think, that done a bit of damage to me in going further in the game. If I'd have prepared properly beforehand, before you start, you get given a sheet. You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this amount of running before you start. Because you've never done a pre-season before.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of it. Screwed it up. Got the sheet. I ain't doing that.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. But I was still playing down Vicky Park, with all because I used to play football from 13. I used to play every Sunday down Victoria Park with like the Turkish guys, Jamaican guys. Like there used to be like my Uncle Dave.
Yeah.
So there used to be like a group of men like that would come together, and it was real football. Like they don't care. You're 13 and you're doing a bit. They're gonna smash it. It don't matter. So I used to play with them guys. Do you know what I mean? So I was playing, and then we play on a Tuesday night, Thursday night. So I'm thinking, I'm doing enough. I don't need to do it. Well, I don't need to do this running. Anyway, it comes to one of the first training sessions, and we have to do the runs round, the Canal Street, round the canals, the figure of eights, up to Foss Park and then back round.
Yeah, the canal.
Very
route,
basic, mate. Blowing at my arse. But I did, and it wasn't until I actually left Leicester that I got them sorted. Because I used to get told all sorts. I used to get told, you're not tough enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. I suffer with a thing called compartment syndrome. So basically, around my shins, I've got, my calves. I've got big calves and that. So around my shins, the muscle that runs alongside your shin, I'm not sure what it's called, but you've got your skin. Then there's like a sheath, and then there's your muscle. So exercise and the blood flows, your muscles expand, right? So this sheath in between my muscle and skin, that didn't expand. So my muscle had expanded. I've nowhere to go.
So there's a tightness.
Yeah.
In there.
So
tightness.
So whenever I played for Leicester, that was happening to my shin. So I was always playing in pain. Always, never not played in pain.
But did you tell people that?
Yeah, I did. Not blaming the physio, like obviously the great physios down there, but I don't think they knew what it was. I don't think nothing could be. It wasn't until I left Leicester and I was playing. Where was I playing at? Years down the line, I was playing for Corby Town, and I can't remember the physio's name. Great guy. Really weird. I bumped into him one time on holiday as well, like years and years later. But mad, isn't it?
And he said, "How's your shins?"
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
No, because are like that.
Yeah, because he went away and actually studied what it could be. And back then there was no Google or nothing like that. And he come back to me because I think you've got compartment syndrome. Because it's similar to shin. I think it's similar to shin splints. I'm not an expert. But I know I ain't got shin splints. I've got compartment syndrome.
Yeah.
So the way we combated that was ice all the time. Ice before games, ice before training, ice after, ice.
And it worked.
Over the years, I've done that. Now I could play, and it never happened. It never happened. But when I was at Leicester, it was always a thing.
So what you've just said, you're saying part of that first year, because you said your first year hampered you to go on to be a professional footballer.
But I always played with compartment syndrome. I just got through.
So what do you think it was in the first year then?
Attitude. 100%.
100%.
Bad attitude.
Yeah,
Bad
but through pride. Through protecting your pride of people talking to you, down to you, even though they're in a position where you've even said they could talk down to you.
Position of authority, yeah. Which, it sounds crazy, but obviously our boys, our children, they have you to talk to them. My children, my boys, they have me to talk to them, who have been there.
Not just football, life.
Not just football, life, yeah.
Yeah.
There was no one there at all who I could bounce off. There was no one there going, right, he spoke to me like this, so I said this. And they go, mate, what are you doing?
That? Yeah.
You're bang out of order. How dare you speak to your coach like that? No one. So I was loose cannon, mate, in my first year. And then in the second year, it just started to, my attitudes it changed. Do you know what I mean? It fell into place.
Did you find a role model in that second year? Or did you start doing your own thinking and became your own role model?
My role model was, I used to love Emile. Always. Because obviously...
You cleaned his boots?
Yeah, but I used to play, me, Owen, used to play, Brendan, others, we used to play together at Leia, five-a-side and stuff like that. You know, I was Emile's boot boy. I was the best boot boy he had, by the way, not you.
No,
We'll have to ask him, but
No. I will agree with that. Because I was always late, he often went out. So everyone that's listening, James was Emile's boot boy pre-me.
Yeah,
pre-me.
You took over from me.
I took over from you when you left Leicester City. And the difference was untrue. Like Emil would often be like, "You ain't getting no fucking Christmas bonus because my boots ain't been cleaned once this year."
Mate, don't say nothing about Christmas tips. I think I might be wrong here. We might talk to Emil and he'll say, "Oh no." But I remember one time, right, being in the boot room. We're digressing again.
Don't matter, digress.
I remember being in the boot room around Christmas time, and some of the lads were getting like 100 quid, 150 quid, and I'm thinking, I ain't had my Christmas bonus yet. Didn't think nothing of it. And anyway, we're going on, and lads are showing up. Oh, got this bonus, and we weren't on a lot then, was we?
45 quid.
Yeah. And then I remember M gave me, I think it was 50 quid and a pair of like these Puma boots, but obviously sponsored by Puma. Me, I should be the most fucking humble, appreciative guy ever. Buzzing with that, right? And I remember moaning to one of the guys who run the boot room, going, "Fucking hell, you only gave me 50 quid, da da da." And Canby was in there, and obviously Canby's good mates with him. I mean, I'm telling him.
Is Stuart Campbell?
Yeah. I'm telling him. I goes, "Canby, please don't tell him. Canby, please don't tell him." Because I'm thinking, he's known me since I was young. This could ruin our relationship. And I was tight with him. We like used to give him garage tapes and stuff like that. And I don't know if it ever affected our relationship, but in my mind, I think it might have. It might have gone back to
Campbell
him.
told him?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I hope not. Well, if he fucking hears it now.
Mate, I put it in my book. He was the same with me. He gave me a pair of boots and 60 quid.
Fucking hell, you got to tell him more and you're a shit.
Well,
Fucking hell.
But he said, "Listen, you've been one of the worst boot boys I've ever had, but here." And he gave me 60 quid and a pair of boots.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah.
You've been one of the worst boot boys.
But I was. But the way that...
I was fucking quality.
Did you have Peggy or Fixhead as well then?
No, I had Emil, Theo Zagarakis, who, by the way,
Baller.
mate.
Theo.
Oh my god, he didn't get the credit he deserved. His boots, he was sponsored by Nike. He was like the Greek David Beckham.
Yeah, I know.
Like in Greece, he was like
I know.
I
know.
So he was sponsored by Nike. Yeah, this is how weird it. He's sponsored by Nike. So obviously all the Nike players would get their Nike boots sent to him, and he liked Nike Tempos, but he didn't like the top range Nike Tempos. He liked the basic ones. So he'd have
you could buy in JD.
Yeah, like the basic ones.
Yeah,
you know how you
yeah.
get the different
Levels, yeah.
yeah, levels. He'd like the shit ones, basically. Right? But you remember the first Nike Mercurials that came out? In my opinion, the best ones. The first ones.
I had a pair.
So
Wicked.
Ronaldo had the silver and blue ones.
R9.
Yeah.
You've got to differentiate.
Yeah, sorry. R9.
Not the Ronaldo.
The real Ronaldo. So
the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So he had the silver, white, blue, yellow, and blue. But before that, the black ones came out. Do you remember? And he got some and didn't want them. And I was the same size, so he gave them me.
Oh my god.
So I was playing.
I remember this.
I was playing youth team football in Nike Mercurial boots that ain't even been out yet. And people look at me like, "What the fuck are they on your feet?" I was buzzing, mate. But defenders used to smash the shit out of me. Here's the thing.
Who's this guy?
Who's this guy?
Got a boot deal at
Yeah.
fucking 16.
No. I tried to get a boot deal with Nike. I sent a letter off to Brian Marwood, and then it got sent
That's
back.
who used to look after me.
Yeah, and it got sent back. Because DT told me, "Oh, I'm sponsored by Nike. You should write to him." So I wrote to him. That letter got sent back.
Did you type it out or write it?
Yeah, I handwritten it.
That's why it got sent back.
Couldn't fucking read it.
I've seen
Spelling mistakes, everything.
I've seen your grammar and fucking handwriting technique, bro.
Hey, you can hammer the handwriting, not the grammar. Grammar's all right.
No, the
I
grammar's
passed
good.
English.
So as I said, we're going to start at the end where we
Yeah.
should have started. So you are to me best friends since 18, 19 years
19.
old. After the early discrepancies, 18, 19, we become best friends.
Yeah.
To cut a long story short, you end up not making it at Leicester. I end up making it and getting in and around the first team.
Yeah.
You went and played a real high standard of non-league
Yeah.
football. You know, you've already mentioned a couple of the teams, Corby Town.
Yeah.
But then going into the working environment.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, I think you was there for the last game at Filbert Street.
Yeah, I was,
Or you
yeah,
was
yeah.
there because
Yeah, I
you
was
shouted to me in the car after I came out. I always
Yeah.
remember that as well. And we went out that night.
Yeah.
We went out that night as well
Yeah.
after I scored that goal against Tottenham.
Off his shoulder.
Listen, I still get angry over shit banter, mate. Don't forget the shower incident. And yeah, so we've been best friends since then. And in between all of that, our children have grown up together. Our wives have been friends. Our ex-wives.
Yeah.
Our ex-wives have been friends. Our new partners are friends. And all our kids grew up with each other. And we always used to say to each other, imagine one day if the kids are still friends when they're old enough to go out to nightclubs and bars, and you know, we're dropping them off like you know, my mum would drop me and you off at times.
Yeah.
And that happened.
Yeah.
It turned into that. And then it so happened you became a coach. I was a coach. You've worked at Loughborough College as the head of coaching.
Head of the academy, yeah.
Head of the academy at Loughborough College.
Yeah.
You then went on to run an American academy in Spain.
Yeah. I was there for 3 years, yeah.
Out in Spain for 3 years, coaching. You still love football. I love football. And then the stars aligned where FSD Academy needed a head coach for its new venture at Kirby Muxloe, where we was going to open our second BTEC.
Yeah.
And you were just coming back from Spain.
Yeah, I'd been back. I mean, to cut a long story short, obviously the wife and the kids were out there, the ex-wife should say. We decided to split up, divorce. They came back to England. I stayed in Spain for another year to see out the contract.
And backwards and forwards in between.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming back every 3 weeks to see the kids, and spending like a Friday to a Monday, and then getting the plane back really early in the morning back to Spain to start. That was never going to be a thing. I was always going to be there for the kids. It's difficult. Missed them like hell. Had some really dark times there, which would probably come on another podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Really dark times. And just before COVID hit, there was things going on where people could sense that there was going to be lockdowns and things like that. And as it was happening, I was thinking, I can't be stuck here. There's no way I can be stuck in Spain. And the kids over there. So I managed to get back just before Spain went. It was literally days, mate, before Spain went into lockdown that I was back.
Not letting any flights out or anything.
I was on my brother and my sister-in-law's couch in the spare room, and it was crazy time. And then I got offered a job in Nottingham, working with kids with like bad behaviour, just mentoring them, overseeing them, supporting them in lessons, supporting the teachers.
Like a mentor, yeah.
Yeah, like a mentor. And I've always had a passion for that anyway, as I got older, in terms of helping people. And if I can help or give any advice and support, really, yeah, like I said, real passion about it. So this role was perfect for me and really enjoyed it. But then as soon as you rang me and was like, we've got this opening, what do you think? It was like a no-brainer, do you know what I mean? It back on the grass. It's best of both worlds. So it's the coaching, football, but then also the mentoring and the teaching side of things. So
yeah, and it comes full circle. You know, I always tell the story. We don't like each other at the start. We become best friends. You leave to go and coach in Spain.
I always liked you though.
Yeah, I know, and that's the viewpoint of two different people. How, you know, the situations can be the same, the circumstances can be the same, but people view things in a totally different way.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And that's why that actually, I always think to myself, imagine if he said that to me, what you said when I came out of the shower that day, and I waited till everyone had gone, or came over to you while everyone was there and say, give me 2 minutes afterwards, and then came up to you and said, why did you do that? And you told me what you've told me now.
Yeah.
We could have not wasted 6 months of me still thinking you're a dick and you thinking I liked you because you like me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the power of communication.
Yeah.
And similarly, the first time I ever met you, and I was only young, so not a lot of young people would do this. But imagine if I thought, wow, he's grumpy, he's mardy, he's very steely and closed off, standoffish on the outside. Imagine if you go up to someone and you say,
Are you all right?
Are you all right, bro?
Yeah.
And then you say, no, yeah. And then we become
Yeah,
friends
exactly.
then.
Yeah.
And within a few conversations, you're saying, I put that on because of where I've come from and what I've been through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why communication is so powerful. And that's why when I wanted to start a podcast, I definitely wanted you to be a part of it. Listen, it's going to be difficult at times. And I definitely wanted my brother to be a part of it, because the journey of brotherhood that me and him have been on, you and my brother are very good friends as well.
Yeah.
As I said, you work for FSD now. Me and my brother speak every day. And we've gone through the last 25 years, me and you, of ups, downs. You've been there through my low periods. I'd like to think I've been there through yours.
You've always been there for me, mate. Always. You've always looked out for me.
We've tried to support each other,
yeah.
I think.
This is no secret to you, but I... And people listening might go, "Oh, fucking hell, it's arse liquor or whatever," but it's not. But you know, I've always said to you, when you was going through your bad periods, I felt always take it with me that I should have been there more. Do you know what I mean? And you always say to me, "Well, I weren't listening to anyone then.
I wasn't
listening to anyone. I was doing what I was doing, how I was doing it. When
I fell out with my
it.
brother. He's one of the closest people on the planet I'm closest to. Fell out with him, you know, from my own doing. The only one that knew on the whole planet how desperate things were was my mum, and that's because that's your mum.
Yeah.
And me and her were really close growing up, and she'd hear everything. She understood the situation, and she's the one that reached out to Tony Adams at Sporting Chance. She's the one that found me on that day that I tried to do that stupid shit. You know, that's how close it was. But she's the only one. No one else knew. No one could have been there for me. And I didn't want anyone's help at the time. You could have come around my house till you're blue in the face. Are you fine? Bro, I'm cool. No problems with me, bro. Because I didn't want no one knowing. Do you know what I mean? And then that's why I think the book shocked a lot of people that knew me well. When they're reading the actual detail of how it unfolded, they're like, damn.
Damn, I didn't know that was happening.
Is that how bad it was? But listen, this has been... It's been good. It's been good, innit?
Yeah, it's gonna be a good journey, 100%.
I think so, mate. And
yeah, I think so.
Listen, mate, this was the first of many.
Yeah.
I hope the people that were listening enjoyed it. I hope they understand our relationship. I don't know if you've got that across well enough.
I don't know. I think they might feel like I'm a bit of a bully or something. Like,
no, that was just one story.
Or they might think I was a bit of a predator, just looking for a vein. I'd like. Wait, why did you have to throw in as well? Like, I'm not particularly small down there. What was all that about?
Because
why does that have to get out there?
Because I don't want people thinking, "Oh my God, he's got a small cock." This will probably come in the vulnerability thing.
Surely
as well.
no one's going to be thinking.
They might have thought that if I didn't say that. He's been playing with it to make it from small to bigger. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't do it.
It didn't make much of a difference, did it?
Oi, what none of you lot realised is I had a full boner going on when I came out of that dressing room. Good night, everyone.